Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now it's my favourite time of the year. Autumn and winter are absolutely amazing, mainly because it gets dark. I don't mind getting dark, but when it gets dark we get to play with torches and flashlights more. So we are here today to look at the Thrunite Archer Mini. So a few weeks back I looked at it's probably about a month or so ago, but the people at Thrunite were good enough to send me an Archer Pro, which I was really impressed with. There's a lot to that flashlight. It's not particularly, I'll tell you what, I'll leave you a link here so that you can see more from that. So with talking to Thrunite and saying how much I quite liked, how much I liked that flashlight, though, you know, we've also got the mini version. So they've sent me the mini version. Full disclaimer, this was sent to me as a review unit. They haven't paid me to make this content. All of the opinions, if I give opinions today, these will all be completely my opinion. But yeah, they sent me the Archer Mini to give this a bit of a test. So what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around so that we can take a closer look. Now whilst I'm doing that, can I get it in my pocket out fast enough? Yes, I can. I'm also doing a giveaway, so can we get this in focus? Let's get this in focus! This is the Axwell wallet, and I recently started a giveaway on this. So if you'd like to see how to enter the giveaway and subscribe, then look at the link below so that you can do that. And while you're doing that, obviously after you've watched this amazing piece of content, then no. So yeah, so watch this first and then go and do that, because today we are here to look at the Archer Mini flashlight. So here we have the Thrunite Archer Mini. Now what we will do is I'll go through some dimensions, some materials, we'll have a look at the features, but I know you guys really just want to see how this works in the dark. So starting with measurements from the end all the way to the tail cap. This is a tail cap button. This comes in at 83 millimeters and it's just 16.7 millimeters in diameter, so it's actually quite a small light, especially when you compare it, and we will definitely compare it. I'll have a look at how this looks against the i3T, but it is just a fraction thinner. Now that 16.7 millimeters is at its widest, which is either at the head or at the tail cap here, but hopefully you'll be able to see here in the middle. If I hold it like that, you'll probably be able to see better that it does have a little bit of fluting, so it gets a little bit thinner here as well. The LED in the end here is an SST20 LED. It has a TIR lens on there. Hopefully if you can see in there, so you'll be able to see that rather than just a flat piece of glass, you can see that it does have that kind of nick into it. I don't know what technically you call it, but the reflector and or at least the lens and the reflector in there, you can see that they're really nice in there as well. As far as construction, this is constructed from quite a common material. You tend to find with a lot of these style flashlights that they're all made from aluminium, and this continues with that. It's classed as an airframe aluminium. It's made from 6061 T6 aluminium, which means that, you know, it's got quite a few qualities that you'd expect. You know, one, it's very light, but it's also incredibly tough. Aluminium isn't a particularly strong material, but a lot of the new alloys that they're making of aluminium certainly are incredibly strong compared to how it actually is. It has a black anodized finish. At the time of filming, I believe that there is only one colour of this. So if you see in the future that there are different variants, at this point it's just this really nice black anodized finish. And as far as the weight is concerned, it's actually really light as well. For an EDC pocketable flashlight, it's very good. In fact, it comes in at just 36 grams. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet. So as far as in the box, you get the light. I think you get, if I remember rightly, I think there was a lanyard with it, and you get a charging cable. Now, as far as charging cables are concerned, or as far as how this does charge, it actually charges through here. So you rotate the end where the LED module is, and then when I roll it over like this, you'll be able to see that there is a USB Type-C charger in there. Now, I know certainly when I've looked at lights in the past, one of the things, oh, I think we're just going out of focus there. Sorry about that. It's just focused on my foot. One of the things that I've always started to check is, especially with these, is how easy it is to be able to get different chargers in there. Mainly because often you'll find that they're actually sunk into a female style hole first before you can actually get your charger or your cable in there. Whereas with this one, if I rotate it over there like that, you can see that it's perfectly flat. So I've tried several different types of chargers, although yes, they're all USB Type-C, they all have a slightly different connector at the end, and they've all been able to fit in there perfectly. Now the battery on the inside of this is a 320 milliamp hour battery, which I think, what is that? That's classed as a 10400 battery, but it's built into this. I don't think, I mean, there must be some way that you can take it out, but they're not designed really to be took out. That's one of the main differences with this that you'll see with other lights, is the fact that other lights tend to either go for a double A or a triple A battery in there, whereas with this one you have the advantage that you can just charge this up and then have at it. You don't need to keep charging this. If you go out, I've tested this with other external battery packs, and it just charges perfectly through there. Now, the only other last feature that mainly there is on here is that you have one of these double clips on here. So whether you want to use it that way, so that you could maybe have this so it's clipped onto something looking down, or I know a lot of people like to put these on the brim of a hat. You can do that so that it slides on that way, so that the light will come out this way as well. So now I did mention, so it is a single button operation on this, and I definitely commend Thrunite as far as the user interface is concerned. It's very simple. Now, I say I commend them. They certainly haven't really reinvented the wheel as far as user interfaces is concerned. But again, when this is compared to other similar lights, I've certainly found that this one is just a fraction of a bit easier to use. But it's a simple click for on, and this is the low mode, and then a click will then turn it off. You can get into the high mode, so whether it is on or whether it is off, all you need to do is a double click, and then that will turn it into the high mode. So whereas others where you're on and you're using it and it's on the low mode and you're going, oh, this is great, it's on the low mode, I need to get it into a high mode, you have to turn it off and then turn it back on again. Now if you turn it off and turn it back on again with this, it will turn it off and turn it back onto the low mode. But if you do a double press, it will put it on. Now, as I say, so you can access this whilst it's off. You do a double press and it turns it into the turbo mode. Now, at this point, it's probably useful to talk about as far as lumens are concerned. So on the low mode, this is 18 lumens, and I'm talking about from a full battery charge. So you need to make sure that, or at least I haven't been able to test the luminosity levels from this. This is purely going from the manufacturers, but the low mode comes in at 18 lumens, whereas the high mode, if I do a double press, and I've now got this on the high mode, this is 405 lumens. On low, so if I turn it off, turn it back on again, this is low. On low with our 18 lumens, you'll get roughly 7.5 hours worth of battery out of that, whereas on the high mode, you'll start off on the 405 lumens and you'll get roughly 2.8 minutes out of that. After 2.8 minutes, it will then drop down to 557 lumens, which you will get a further 52 minutes out of. Now, I think that's reasonably good as far as lights are concerned, especially a small light like this. The fact that you've been able to get more lumens out of this than you can from other lights, which is probably a good segue. So let me just grab, so I have down here just off camera. So it would be impossible to be able to talk about the Archer Mini without talking about the Olight i3T. This is an exceptionally good light, and that's because of how useful this is as far as, just being in your pocket. It's very small, it's very compact. The main differences between the two, if I put them back to back like this, hopefully you'll be able to see that the Archer Mini is maybe, say, 5, maybe 6 millimeters shorter. When I put them on top of each other like this though, you can see that the Archer Mini is actually just a fraction wider. Now, when I talk about it being wider, we're talking maybe a millimeter, maybe 2, really isn't much at all. The main differences between these two lights is the fact that the i3T, if I unscrewed this, is a AAA battery, and that's what it's powered through, whereas with the Archer Mini, how we've just looked, this uses a battery, this uses an internal. Clearly they both use a battery in there. It would be very important for them to use a battery. The other main differences though really are the luminosity levels that you get from these, and I think this comes down to the fact that how they are powered. The Olight i3T comes in on low at 5 lumens, and on high it's 180 lumens, whereas with the Archer Mini we're on 18 lumens on low rather than 5, and we're on 400 lumens on high, or sorry, 405 lumens on high rather than the 180 that you get on high with the Olight. But I think this really is making a move on this exact light, and it's made a very good move. Now I think what's probably useful now, let's have a look at how these work in the dark, or especially, you know, mainly this one, but I suppose it'd be useful to show you the differences between the two as well. Okay, it is raining a little bit, so I do apologise, and I'm filming on my phone, but here we are on low at 18 lumens. This tree is about 4 meters away from me. There's another tree here, 2 meters maybe. Another tree, that tree is probably about 5, maybe 6, and then there's another tree over there which is maybe 7 or 8 meters away. You're not really expecting, I mean, it's 18 lumens at the end of the day. It's not really a huge floodlight. The big difference is on a double click, it takes it up to 405 lumens, and you really do get quite a considerable jump at this 405 lumens. So there's that first tree, there's the second tree, but now you can also see the tree in the background, which is about 10 meters away. There's that other tree. Here's the one that was a little bit closer, but now easily you can see the one that's behind it, and then you can see the one that's behind that as well. So I think for 405 lumens, it does a very good job, especially for a little light like this. I suppose really, if you see that tree there, I'll turn it off, turn it back on again on low. You can't see that tree. Double click again, and now you can. But as mentioned, I think I mentioned this before, but you can do a triple click, 1, 2, 3, and then you've got a strobe mode, which, you know, it's just a strobe mode, but pretty good in the dark. I think mainly for what I use it for, I think this kind of small lumen level is great for inside the house when you're trying to find keys or something in your car or something in a room where, I don't know, maybe you don't want to wake up your spouse or something, but yeah, it's a great little light. Now I think Thrunite have done a stellar job with this. Build quality, materials, the fact that yes, it's rechargeable. You've got your pros and cons, whether you go for AA's, whether you go for, you know, batteries that you have to replace, or whether you go for ones that recharge. Now it swings and roundabouts with everything, isn't it really? But there's a lot on this, and I think personally the UI on this is what sells this. I don't mean sells, I'm not trying to sell this to you, but I think that's just a phrase in which, what actually is a redeeming feature in this is the UI. It's very simple, we're not reinventing the wheel on this, but when it's compared to others, which it's hard not, and we have compared it, but it's hard not to compare the Archer Mini with the i3T, mainly because they're so very similar. With the i3T, you've got that whole turn on, turn off kind of thing, which you kind of have with this, but really it's a double click from anything will get you through to the high mode. I think the way in which they've been able to engineer this and change this over the way that the i3T does it is probably the biggest. Oh shit, my bag just fell over. That scared the crap out of me then. I thought somebody walked past. I'm gonna have to leave that in because I am. Genuinely scared the crap out of me. Anyway, so yes, I think the Thrunite Archer Mini is definitely a great flashlight. And it's showing that there are a lot more companies that are moving into this EDC space. Olight have had a very good run with the i3T and the i5T, and you know, there's some good competition out there that are doing some very good things. Now, you know, as usual, it's YouTube, so I will leave some links to the Archer. I keep wanting to say i3 because I'm an idiot, but I will leave some links to the Archer Mini. It's not the Pro. I will leave some links to the Archer Mini below so that you can see more from this. I'll also leave some of my social media links. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Jesus, bag! It just fell over. All it did is fall over, but it sounded like somebody was walking past. It sounded like there was footsteps. I mean, I was getting in full fight and flight mode, but yeah, it was weird. 4.5 years on YouTube, and I've never been kind of scared during a piece of content, apart from when I'm out in the dark. I am scared of the dark. I get scared a lot. But I had the Archer Mini with me, so I was fine. I wasn't scared of the dark. I should have added that in. It's going in the bloopers. Bloody bag, honestly. Shoot! Hi. Oh, I did a big breath in. Sun is going on really quickly. Oh, I've put it. Oh, it's in my pocket. I think that's the. I think I hold my breath before I do that bit. So when I do the bit where I need to talk, I've got this massive amount of breath in that I feel like I need to expel. But by that point, I've almost kind of quasi-hyperventilated, and I need to like extinguish all that carbon dioxide and get in some. Anyway. Oh, runny nose today. I probably shouldn't be doing it on the back of my hand. That's a bit disgusting, isn't it? Where were we? Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, but the sun's going out very quickly. Okay, let's do this. It's a little bit more sense. Torch, I think, like pickaxe and let's get the Vikings. Not that there's. Oh, fuck. Why did they go Vikings? I meant like vampire. Oh, they both begin with a V. There you go. Idiot. Put it back in my pocket. That went tits up, didn't it? I'll probably leave it in. It's all about character building. The character, the Moorlander. I mean, the Moorlander is a character. World-renowned character. But for new people to the channel that might not know the legend of the Moorlander, the Moorlands, the kingdom of the Moorlands, it's important to build that character within every piece of content. It tells a story, apparently. Yeah, moving on. Where's the button?